What's up, traders? 5 total trades today, 3 here on ETRN, 1 on EQM, and 1 on MNTA. Well, let's get to it. All right, traders, we're not going to do the live trades today. And real quick, before we do the recap, I want to remind you guys we had 50 likes total between the 5 videos last week. So that's going to mean the gift card hidden in one of the videos this week is going to be $12.50. So good luck finding that. And on to the recap. So starting here with ETRN, we're just going to knock these 3 trades out right off the bat. And this is kind to give you a precedence of what has been happening today. We've been getting some pretty decent moves, a little bit more on the grindy side, and just really not any kind of a pullback. So we have this previous resistance sitting here at 810 on ETRN, get a pretty nice move, and we jump in right before the $0.50. We actually split our first entry in half here. We were going to use 150 based off of our scale, but we were right at a double top tape area based off of the high from yesterday, or on Friday, I should say. And right when we got on the other side, we decided to hit it and get into our full entry position. Kind of started a little bit of a descending triangle here, got most of our push. We were looking for more out of this, and a lot of that was because we had a bigger loss a little bit before this in MNTA, and we were looking to try to get a little bit more out of it. So instead of taking 50% here, we actually only took a third of our position off. We had 150 shares, we took 50 off here, and we were on the bid down here at 830 for 50 more of our shares, and we just didn't get filled, so we ended up letting this go all the way against us back up to, it was 846. So missed out on possible like $15-ish there on the 100 shares, which would have obviously helped the trade overall. But I think we only ended up with like $8 there instead of what could have been over 20. So anyways, it decided to kind of do its thing. We were looking around, and then we saw ETRN pop back up on the scanners, and I pulled it up and I was like, okay, this looks more like our trade. We're going through that previous resistance and we're looking to extend itself. It was a little bit slow here, and we kind of FOMO'd in on our first entry. And right after we got in, it decided to make this pop. And this is the pop that we wanted, and we even said it in the live stream that this should have been our first entry up here, but instead now we were kind of dealing with a bad first entry. But in hindsight, it really didn't matter too much. Just ended up losing a little bit extra based off of that first entry because this thing just consolidated up here near the highs and ended up going higher. This red arrow here was basically saying we're going to get one last little add-in before it decides to try to go high of day again, and if it wants to go high of day, we'll just stop out. So we got our last shares as close to our stop as possible, and unfortunately, it stopped us out. And as you can see, it was actually a good stop, though, because this went higher. And again, we were looking for this thing to extend. It went right up to that $0.50 area, and we decided to try it one last time. So we took a position here, and we pretty much nailed the bottom of this one. And at the same time, we actually got into our other trade of EQM. These things were trading, I believe they're the same company, or at least part of the same company, because we'll go right to the EQM trade after this because you'll see that the charts almost look identical. But on this drop, we had an order out. We got filled. It was a pretty good fill, as you can tell. It was the lowest it had gotten, and as it was coming back up, we used this support or resistance area that it kind of formed here as a pivot, and unfortunately we got stopped. And as you can see, it did try to squeeze up a little bit higher, but it did not eventually, or it eventually came back down. So not a big deal there. And if we go right over to EQM, you'll see it was pretty much the same exact chart, except we didn't trade this one up until here. We used that whole $1.23 as our spot. We actually had put our stop in right above that high of day. We put both of these on short leashes when we took these entries, and we got that same cover and pretty much the same cover here on the stop out using that pivot area. So those were the trades there on EQM and ETRN. Over to MNTA, which was the one we had taken earlier. Again, I wasn't mad at these trades. It's just they weren't pulling back like they normally would. As you can see, we got in over this 33 pop. First entry was at 3333, 3333. It popped up pretty quickly up there to 3431, basically a whole point. We got a nice add in there. We tried to pull back. We had an order out right around our first entry, and we just couldn't get it. We just couldn't get that pullback. It consolidated up here. We ended up stopping out at high of day, and as you can see, it looked to be a fake out breakout at first, but then it was like, nah, we're going to keep going. And as you can see, this thing ripped. So very good cut. That's the strategy. That's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to let these things go against us. And overall, we ended up with about a max loss day. We were down 95.30, and a max loss on any given trade is 100 at the moment. And man, these guys are typing quite a lot, aren't they? Just hearing click, click, click. I'll just let it go because I'm going to end here. But again, don't forget to hit the like button to get those gift card monetary values up even more for next week. Keep a lookout for the card. It could have been in this video. It could be in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We don't know. I appreciate all your support, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace.